Today we shall study about ionic compounds. Ionic compounds are the compound formed from two units, a cation and an anion. The cation and anion are oppositely charged. They both are oppositely charged. And because they are oppositely charged, there is an electrostatic force of attraction between them. The force of attraction between the cation and the anion is called the ionic bond. So, a cation and an anion. Cation which is positively charged, anion that is negatively charged. They both are attracted towards each other. Okay, and the bond which is formed between them it is called as the ionic bond. For example, the sodium ion and chloride ion, they form a bond which is the ionic bond, and sodium chloride is called as the ionic compound. The compound form is called as ionic compound. An ionic compound is electrically neutral. Now, why is it so? Because the number of cations is always equal to the number of anions. So, the charge of all these cations is cancelled by the charge on the anions, causing the ionic compound to become electrically neutral. The other property of ionic compounds is that they are crystalline in nature. They are smooth and shiny. Why do they have a crystalline nature? The regular arrangement of ions in the solid ionic compounds is responsible for their crystalline nature. There's a regular arrangement. You can see over here, that is chloride ion, and around it there are these sodium ions. Okay, and the same type of arrangement is repeated again and again. The chloride ion, and you'll see these sodium ions. Here again there will be a sodium ion. Okay, so this causes them to have a crystalline structure. But this arrangement in different compounds is different, and that is the reason why different ionic compounds have got different structures. Different ionic compounds have different crystalline structures. Okay. Now, what are the factors responsible for a crystalline structure? First is the size of the positively and negatively charged ions, and second is the magnitude of the electrical charge of the ions. The stronger the charge, the more is the electrostatic force. Okay, and because of this, if there is a strong electrostatic force, the melting point of ionic compounds is high. Also, you will find one more property, that ionic compounds are hard and brittle because of this strong force of attraction between the cations and the anions. Let us understand the general properties of ionic compounds. Already we have done quite a few, but let us understand them in detail. Now, why are ionic compounds really hard? They are solid in solid state and they are hard. Why? Because there is an electrostatic force of attraction between the positively charged ions and the negatively charged ions. Ionic compounds are brittle, and when you apply pressure on them, they are broken into pieces. What happens to them? They are broken into pieces. Okay. There is a strong intermolecular force of attraction in the ionic compounds. Very strong force of attraction. Because of this, when you have to overcome this force of attraction which is there between them, if you want to overcome it, you will have to spend a large amount of energy. And because large amount of energy is required to overcome it, the melting point and the boiling point of ionic compounds are high. So this can be asked as a give reason. Why the melting point and boiling point of ionic compounds are high? Ionic compounds are water soluble. See, sodium chloride is an ionic compound. When you dissolve it in water, what happens? It gets dissociated into sodium ions and chloride ions. Okay, and a new force is established between this sodium ion and water, the molecules of water, and similarly chloride ions and the water molecules. Okay. The ionic compounds, they are insoluble in solvents like kerosene and petrol because new attractive forces cannot be established in these solvents. Okay. And the ionic compounds cannot conduct electricity when they are in solid state. When in solid state, they cannot conduct it. Cannot conduct electricity. In this state, the ions cannot leave their places. They are fixed in their places. But when they are in fused or molten state, molten means liquid. They are in the liquid state. Now you can see that the ions can move. The positive and negative ions, they can move from their, they are not stationary now, they can move. And they can conduct electricity. So when can they conduct electricity? When they are in fused or molten state. When they cannot conduct electricity, they cannot conduct in solid state. The aqueous solutions of sodium, of the ionic compounds, conduct electricity as they contain dissociated ions. We already saw that sodium chloride, when we sodium chloride is added to water. So what happens in water? Sodium, I'm adding sodium chloride, they get dissociated into sodium and chloride ions. Okay. Now this solution is called as an aqueous solution. Any solution in water is an aqueous solution. This solution, it can conduct electricity because they have dissociated ions. Okay. These ions, sodium and chloride ions, are dissociated ions. On passing current through the solution, the ions move to the oppositely charged electrodes. Now if I introduce two electrodes, now this is one electrode, this is another electrode. Okay. And I connect it to the, this is the cathode and this is the anode. Okay. Now this sodium ion, it will move towards the cathode, and the chloride ion, it's moving towards the anode. When you conduct electricity on passing current through this solution, these ions, they move, and due to the electrical conductivity in fused and dissolved state, the ion compounds are also called as electrolytes. What do we call them? Electrolytes. This table shows you the melting points and boiling points of various ionic and non-ionic compounds. Look at water. Water is non-ionic. Its melting point is just 0. And the remaining are all ionic compounds, and they have got quite a high melting point and boiling point. Look at the melting point of water, it's 0. And zinc chloride, which is ionic compound, its melting point is quite high. That's 290 degrees Celsius, 290. Look at magnesium oxide. It is an ionic compound, and it has got a melting point which is quite high. That's 2852 degrees Celsius. And the boiling point is 3600 degrees Celsius. And what about non-ionic water? It is, the boiling point is just 100 degrees Celsius. So this shows you that ionic compounds have got high melting and boiling points. High melting point and boiling point. Whereas non-ionic have got a lower melting point and boiling point. This is it for today. The next time we shall continue with the chapter of metallurgy.